This eerie tale manifested out of the shadows, catching me entirely off guard. I've encountered my fair share of creepy people and strange incidents, but nothing could have prepared me for the spine-chilling events that unfolded. Freshly out of a relationship, I decided to spend my summer back home until the fall semester kicked in. Working full-time at the gas station, just a mile from my parents' house, seemed like a decent way to pass the time. Little did I know, this seemingly mundane summer job would transform into a nightmare. The initial weeks were uneventful, spent goofing off with hometown friends and enjoying the simple pleasures of life. The gas station, located in a fairly nice suburban area, attracted its fair share of regular customers. However, one particular late-30s gentleman began to stand out. Initially innocuous, he deliberately chose my line, his visits becoming more frequent. At first, I failed to notice the subtle signs of his creepy infatuation, being a somewhat oblivious 21-year-old girl with self-esteem issues stemming from a previous abusive relationship. As time passed, this mysterious customer escalated his unsettling behavior. What began with regular visits to my register soon turned into a relentless pursuit. His polite demeanor and the occasional presence of his tween daughters provided a deceptive sense of harmlessness. Unbeknownst to me, his infatuation reached new heights, leading him to alter his schedule to coincide with mine. Feeling increasingly uncomfortable, I began actively avoiding him, even changing my work hours to make my schedule unpredictable. The situation took a darker turn when he started leaving notes and flowers on my car. Fearing for my safety, I confronted him one night as he appeared from behind my vehicle. I sternly declared my lack of interest, but he assured me he would win me over. Determined to evade his advances, I resorted to erratic schedule changes, working various shifts to maintain unpredictability. One fateful afternoon, a woman, seemingly deranged, entered the gas station with 2 young girls. To my horror, she accused me of being the young, hot gas station girlfriend of her unhinged husband. The confrontation escalated, drawing the attention of the store owner, who promptly called the police. The irate woman was forced to leave, leaving me bewildered by the disturbing revelations. As if that weren't enough, my nights became even more unnerving. A new, attractive acquaintance, aware of my predicament, started accompanying me after my shifts to ensure my safety. On a particularly ominous night, the stalker managed to slip into the gas station just before closing. Alone and vulnerable, he unleashed a torrent of unsettling comments, promising to change my life with his twisted version of generosity. When I mentioned his wife's disapproval, he exploded into a fit of rage, trashing the store in a frenzied tantrum. Trapped inside the gas station after hours, my handsome companion arrived just in the nick of time. Witnessing my distress, he intervened, prompting the stalker to storm off into the darkness. With shattered displays and lingering fear, my protector comforted me until I regained composure. It was then that he insisted I quit the gas station immediately, a sentiment echoed by the police after we reported the incident. A small-town nightmare, the stalker was swiftly apprehended, revealing chilling details: a knife, rope, and duct tape in his possession. The darkness that lurked beneath the surface of that gas station has forever left an indelible mark on my soul. It was around 8 p.m., and the night was alive with a hint of suspense. My friend Sally and I, both in our early 20s, decided to walk to the closest cafe, approximately a mile away. Lacking personal cars and with Sally missing her Opel card, our only option was to traverse the streets on foot. The summer evening cast long shadows, but the well-lit main roads provided a sense of security. Upon reaching the cafe, we settled in, ready for a relaxed evening. As I approached the counter to pay, the unsettling reality struck. I only had my credit card, and the cafe accepted cash only. Sally, engrossed in a phone call, remained blissfully unaware of the predicament. Determined to salvage the evening, I gestured for her to hold our spot while I ventured out to find an ATM. Being familiar with my home suburb, I knew the nearest ATM was at a gas station about a block away. Opting for a light jog to minimize Sally's wait time, an unexpected encounter unfolded. A balding, sweaty man in his late 40s, clad in a tank top and barefoot, began pacing behind me as I turned the corner. Initially dismissing it, I assumed he was heading to the gas station, seemingly having emerged from a suburban house along the street. Entering the convenience store at the gas station, the man did not follow me. While searching for an ATM, I approached a man in his 30s at the counter and inquired about cashing out. To my surprise, he asked, "Is he with you?" Gesturing towards the balding man who continued drifting outside. The man's seemingly aimless wandering raised no alarms initially, but the clerk mentioned he had been staring at me earlier. Brushing off the concern, I thanked the clerk for the cash. However, before leaving, he advised me to wait and see if the man left first. A few minutes passed in silence as the man outside intensified his pacing, now against the front wall of the store, never glancing inside. Assured of the man's harmless demeanor, I decided to leave, heading back to the cafe. Dusk provided a fairly bright ambience as I stepped out, and Sally's texts prompted my return. I expressed gratitude to the concerned clerk, reassured him of my safety, and began walking away. Just as I left, the drifting man abandoned his meandering and abruptly moved towards me in a brisk, purposeful manner. The sudden shift alarmed me, and I started power walking, trying to convince myself it was mere paranoia. As I reached the pavement on the other side of the gas pump, the clerk, now outside and yelling, grabbed the man by his shoulders. Strangely, the balding man showed no resistance or attempt to flee. His gaze remained fixated on me as I ran, with the clerk still restraining him. Crossing the road, I turned to witness the surreal scene, the clerk holding the man, both staring at me. The clerk gestured for me to go, and I reciprocated with a grateful gesture. Returning to Sally with the cash, we bought our food, opting for a different route on our walk back home, haunted by the inexplicable events of that summer night. The eerie encounter left an indelible mark on my consciousness. As Sally and I navigated the dimly lit streets on our way back home, the atmosphere seemed charged with an unspoken tension. The warmth of the summer night now felt like an illusion, overshadowed by the unsettling events at the gas station. With every shadow cast by the streetlights, my imagination conjured ominous figures. The air, thick with an unspoken fear, compelled us to walk faster, our footsteps echoing in the silence. The usual comfort of our familiar surroundings had transformed into an eerie backdrop for the unknown. We took a different route, avoiding the gas station and the memory of the drifting man. The usual hum of nightlife seemed subdued, and the occasional rustle of leaves in the breeze carried an unsettling weight. Even the comforting glow of the streetlights couldn't dispel the lingering unease. As we neared home, the events of the evening replayed in my mind. The balding man's inexplicable behavior, the clerk's intervention, and the haunting image of him watching me as I ran all painted a portrait of a night that defied explanation. Behind closed doors, within the safety of home, the questions lingered. Who was the drifting man? What compelled him to follow me with an intensity that transcended mere curiosity? The boundary between the ordinary and the inexplicable blurred, casting a shadow over the tranquility of the summer night. Sleep brought no solace as the events replayed in my dreams, each detail magnified and distorted. The line between reality and nightmare became increasingly elusive. The specter of the drifting man haunted my subconscious, a silent reminder that the inexplicable often lingers on the fringes of the familiar. In the days that followed, the routine of life resumed, but an unspoken fear lingered in the background. The streets that once felt like a sanctuary now harbored hidden mysteries. The gas station, once a mundane convenience, now stood as a symbol of an encounter that defied reason. As summer nights unfolded, the memory of that fateful evening became a ghostly presence, a reminder that the line between safety and peril could be as thin as the shadows cast on dimly lit streets. The drifting man, with his peculiar gaze, remained an enigma, leaving me to wonder about the mysteries concealed within the ordinary fabric of our everyday lives. Story 3. As a college freshman in the South, I'm also a short, chubby black female with a height just below the average at 5'4". My college is situated across the street from a rundown gas station where I happened to work one night. On that particular evening, my boss left me alone, claiming he hadn't gotten enough sleep. The night was slow, with no apparent reason for the lack of customers. Behind the counter, engrossed in playing Geometry Dash on my phone, I heard the door open, and the chime from the bells announced a man's entrance. He was of average height, very skinny, and oddly intimidating. Despite not being easily frightened, there was something about him that gave off an unsettling vibe. The man had a receding hairline with a small comb over, and he wore a dingy white t-shirt with holes, along with Dad's jeans stained with a dark red substance and mud. He appeared as if he had just been hunting. His eyes, hollow and empty, met mine as I greeted him with a friendly smile, practicing the common Southern hospitality. He muttered something incomprehensible and moved to the back of the store. I kept an eye on him, growing bored of my game. Minutes later, I glanced up to find him standing behind an aisle, just watching me. Instinctively, I lowered my head back to my phone, but a nagging feeling compelled me to look up again. This time, he was at the counter, holding gummy worms and a beer. "Did you find everything okay, sir?" I asked, a bit startled, but trying to maintain composure. He didn't respond verbally. Instead, he pulled a dirty $10 bill from his pockets. "The total is $5.68, I stated, handing him his change. He remained silent until, out of nowhere, he shouted racial slurs, expressing his hatred. Stunned and taken aback, I couldn't find words to respond. He continued his tirade, making vile comments about me and others. The situation escalated, and I gasped in disbelief. Just as I was about to confront him, a group of college guys burst into the store, distracting him. Seizing the opportunity, he grabbed his items and left. A familiar face among the college students recognized my distress and offered support. Bringing me snacks and an Arizona iced tea, he inquired about the unsettling encounter. I shared the disturbing racist comments and assured him I would be fine. Despite the incident, my friend left his phone number, emphasizing that I should call if I needed help. Hours later, my boss and another coworker arrived, signifying the end of my shift. I left, putting the disturbing episode behind me as I started my journey across the street. However, about a mile into my walk, I heard someone yell, "Hey sir, is there a reason for you to be here tonight?" I turned to see campus security confronting a lanky man. As my eyes adjusted to the darkness, I realized it was the same racist man from the gas station. His gaze locked onto me, intensifying my discomfort. Without responding, he made me uneasy enough to hasten my pace towards my dorm. The next day, while working on homework in the Union Center, a friend informed me that they had found a man on campus the previous night carrying a pistol and a hunting knife. My stomach dropped upon hearing this revelation. The description matched the skinny white man from the gas station. He had mumbled racist remarks under his breath, confirming that he was the same man who had followed me back to my dorm the night before. Fortunately, he was caught, and I was safe.